up fighting Ziri and the Githyanki, and you now know whose ship it is that you saw crash landing to the west of here. After this brutal battle, in which Nigel finally managed to, or when Zith finally managed to cut off Ziri's head and picked up the silver sword, the remaining two Githyanki that you can see have both dropped their weapons and they've surrendered. There is no sign of the one that turned invisible. You suspect he's probably long gone by now. And everything's just starting to die down. You still have the Heffalump Shin hanging out over there, getting ready for.
Oh, I remember this now.
Yeah, there you go. There is a fiendish spirit just still kind of hanging around, waiting for further instructions, and there is a tsunami, a water elemental that had engulfed someone and drowned him.
Uh-huh.
Serves him right.
Hmm.
When I said what I said, deserves him right.
So, at this point, Zith is turning over the silver sword in his hand, and uh, another hallmark of a Githyanki knight. And now you have two in the
Wait.
party.
Is mine the better one or is his?
They're the same kind of sword.
Yeah, but you said at one point that one of them had a feature that the other one
Mm.
didn't.
There are two types of silver swords. One of them is the one that's the Githyanki Knight marker. The other one is the one that the game has as an automatic gimme for all of the Githyanki characters. They all have a silver sword, but it's not quite the same thing.
Mm,
It's not nearly as powerful as the ones you guys have. So you
okay.
each have, yeah, the Githyanki Knight quality ones. The
Which-
the
Same, but different.
the great swords that have the Vorpal feature.
Mhm.
So
Hmm.
where do you want to go from here? Because you have two captives at this moment in time, or at least two of them that have surrendered to you.
I think we better question them.
We have this one up here. And then where's the other one?
The other one is the one that I had to mark so that we knew who it was, that it was not uh, Xanath.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And me and Turd are no longer invisible.
The invisible turd.
Yeah,
The bane of every public restroom.
I can't believe I sat in that.
I'm going to assume that the two summon creatures would have disappeared by now, considering the period of time.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, considering our characters have been standing here for a month.
Right?
Do we give up or what?
Just
No.
calves of steel.
The captives are like, the fuck do we do? And our characters are just standing there.
Full T-pose.
They're not moving. We could probably leave.
No, fuck that. That's a trap. This is a trap. I
That
smell
is
trap.
That is, yeah.
It's a fade trap.
How do I get
Shin, are you going to stay a Heffalump or do you want to turn back to your normal self?
Back to a woozle.
Well, based off of the Animorph series, if he's been a Heffalump for this long, he's stuck.
You stay that way.
now.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks.
How do I change back?
Well, you're gonna have to wild
Your
shape into a
character-
human.
Your actual character token's up at the upper right. We moved it out of the way.
Oh, there we go.
Your
Okay.
elephant.
But he's not human to begin with.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Oh,
This Heffalump looks a little rockier than normal.
You're no longer Ganassi. We're not human. Sorry.
There,
Womp
I'll just delete
womp.
that.
Thank you.
Oh.
And then how long does your giant thing last for, Nigel?
It would be done by now.
Okay.
I think he would intimidatedly walk towards them as it starts to go away. So he like reverse hulks into Bruce Banner, and then starts.
Hey guys, I think we have you conquered now. Pushes up his glasses. All right. What are you gonna ask them?
Where is she?
Oh God.
oh boy.
No, it is way too fucking early for you to start doing that bullshit.
Yeah, none of that.
Joker.
No.
No
Hard
Batman.
pass.
Swear
You're
to
just
me.
an elephant.
I don't see.
Hey, Beast
Shin
Boy's
doing
same
very-
universe.
I have a hard time envisioning Shin doing the Christian Bale growl.
Is your mom's name Martha? My mom's name's Martha.
By that I mean the character that's wearing the tie-dye cloak. Like trying to be a mean hippie just doesn't work.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Are you actually
Don't watch
asking
the
them
movie
who their daddy is? Is that what you're
No, I
asking?
was.
Who's your daddy?
No, that was Kindergarten
Nope.
Cop.
If
Yep.
this is where the
That
game
was-
is going, I'm gonna go smoke and come back later.
Wow.
No,
Wait,
I had
wait.
other plans here, but I wasn't. I was waiting because you guys said you were going to ask them some
Well,
questions.
We
but
we
no
were,
questions
but
have been asked.
we
It's been a month.
it's been a month. We forgot
Yeah.
those fucking questions.
Well, let's just start with where's your ship?
Let's-
They gotta have a ship, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's one of the things one of the reasons you guys headed out this way in the first place.
Yeah. Where's the ship? Start talking, or maybe we don't have a use for you.
Nope.
You know,
So
if you
I'm
want,
gonna take
if
us
you
to
want,
the
I
ship.
can cast suggestion on them and suggest them to answer truthfully all your questions, if you want.
Sure.
And that's an option.
I think it's wisdom saves, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to get there.
I'm just gonna post the spell card here, but the spell save is wrong. It's 19, it's not 18. 18 is lower than 19.
Yep. All right. So it doesn't seem like it was too necessary to do it. She doesn't seem to be fighting against telling you where the ship is, but it is 2 days to the west of here. At least 2 days of their travel. Your camels are obviously just kind of handily tucked off to the side out of the way. It'll take you 1 day to get to that place. But they'd been basically they'd been making base there for a little while and set out as soon as they started seeing the commotion going on and they saw the tower crack. They figured that it must have something to do with the presence that you may have in this world.
All right. Me and Zith will go to my camel and his camel and start fashioning sleds to drag our prisoners as we head towards their ship.
Okay. It is also getting close to dusk at this point too. This would have been a day thing. So you'll have to set up camp for the night. All right.
Setting up camp.
So let me go ahead and get a thing real fast for that, which I don't know if I have one.
Sorry about that.
I'll turn to Zith and be like,
You'll use the armor of their fallen compatriots as the base for the sled.
Cold.
I like the cut of his jib.
We're using. Wait, what are we drag? Why are we dragging bodies as sleds?
I'm taking them with us. I ain't gonna fucking leave them here.
Oh, so like. Okay, hold on. I've got rope.
The bodies?
No, the people that are the person that's alive.
Oh,
There's two people that are alive.
Yes.
we're gonna leave them alive?
Hence why my camel and your camel are going to drag these bitches with us.
I mean, technically, we only need one of them.
Just in case one dies on the way.
Oh.
It's just an insurance.
I mean, if are we just gonna go full evil? What's going on?
And I thought Xanath was the one who was picking up pets along the way. Now you? Jesus.
This is just in case it's like hard coded into their DNA or something, and only they can activate the fucking ship.
Well, what if we need their face or something?
Their eyeballs. We don't know what we need, so let's just keep it all intact for now, and then we can take the parts out later.
Jesus.
Y'all are
they're
boring.
Githyanki, so
No,
I'm
following
totally
that
here
logic-
for absolutely destroying them.
Is it
Following
about
that
this time that you realize
should
that
take
two
the
of your
head of the
compatriots-
leader with you as well.
It's about this point that you realize that two of your compatriots are also Githyanki.
Which these
Oh.
Githyanki openly fought without any question. So in their minds, they should be like, okay, they're considering us pariahs now. So if anything,
No.
we need them alive to fucking tell any commander that might be back there, like, hey, yo, no, this is actually what happened.
No, fair enough. There is for this ship and for this group. This is something that Xanath and Zith would know. Is that there would be no higher leader besides Ziri. Ziri is basically reports directly to Queen Blacketh.
Gonna be an
So-
entire day for us to get there. More ships
Does-
might arrive. Find
does
that
that
ship, go down
mean-
to that ship?
Does that mean that since we've defeated that person, that the rest of the crew are ours now?
You mean can you issue them orders?
Yeah, well, you know, like we take over because we defeated them in combat.
There's always
Uh,
command, suggestion, charm person, charm monster.
I didn't
List
catch a
goes
word
on
of
and
that.
on. I said there is always command, suggestion, charm person, charm monster, dominate person. The list goes on. We have options to make them comply.
Fair enough. I mean, they surrendered. They are as surrendered prisoners of war, obviously. So they're probably not too happy with the situation. They just realized it was a losing battle and they were not going to succeed this. Okay. So you got them tied up basically in the sleds, ready to go. As night falls here, what order are you guys want to take for watch?
Before we do that, I'm actually going to cast Druid Grove.
All right.
I actually don't know what that does.
What does it
It,
do?
it gives us a ring of cacti in the desert.
And so much more. You invoke the spirits of nature to protect an area outdoors or underground. The area can be as small as 30-foot cube or as large as a 90-foot cube. Buildings and other structures are excluded from the affected area. If you cast the spell in the area every day for a year, the spell lasts until dispelled. The spell creates the following effects within the area when you cast the spell. You can specify creatures, which obviously all the party, as friends who are immune to the effects, except for our prisoners. You can also specify a password that, when spoken aloud, makes the speaker immune to these effects. The entire warded area radiates magic. Dispel magic cast on the area is, if successful, removes only one of the following effects, not the entire area. That spell's caster chooses which effect.
Oh my goodness, are you reading the entire thing?
I was going to. It's very long.
Just project it, bro.
We can read faster.
Just project it.
So basically, a bunch of cactuses in this area. Is
I'm
basically
proud of you,
Faraday,
Shin,
right?
for reading. How about that?
I just come
Thank
back and he's
you.
just going off. I'm just
Christina
like,
Lynn's
what is happening?
turned into the third grade librarian that just wants you to read.
Well, I don't have an immediate cactus picture here, at least not in this particular list here. But we'll just go ahead and use the power of imagination to imagine all those cactuses
Cedar
and
Light.
other things popping up,
I accept.
rather than waiting for me to
Amazing.
click on this.
Quick question: is there any trees nearby?
Everything
No,
around
you're
here
in
is
the
mostly,
fucking desert.
yeah, it's mostly desert wildlife, so cactuses is probably your best bet.
Cactuses are trees.
They are not.
No,
plants,
they
they're
are
trees.
not.
Close enough.
They're pretty close to trees. I am agreeing with Shin here.
Yeah, they can pass for trees.
For the sake of the spell, can we call them trees?
Sure.
Let's see.
Yay.
Okay.
What?
Even flow.
I'm
He wants,
also.
to, he wants to animate his trees.
Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you want an animated tree, is what you're saying?
Or
Well,
He's making ints.
the
I
Grove
can do
Guardians.
all of
At-
them. I can do
Okay.
all the. I can do all the things. Fog, grasping vines, and guardian spirits.
Essentially, we're well protected.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. You got this thick fog kind of covering the area. You have a bunch of walking cactuses around, stomping quietly through the fog every now
Yeah,
and
Plants vs Zombies right now.
And
And there's a
also,
bunch. There's vines all over the place that like Or we'll grab people if they come into the area and entangle them.
Yep.
Okay.
Or if they're friendly, it acts as a bed or a seat.
All right. Fair
I'll
enough.
allow it.
So, as you're going ahead and tucking in for the night, Al Hashim, you're aware of the presence of Sabat next to you,
Mm-hmm.
and he basically just kind of says, "We must talk," and he goes into the lamp.
And talk we shall. We'll go into the lamp as well.
So he's waiting there on the other side of his throne room of pillows and the blazing braziers hanging around, and he's waiting for you there. And he looks to you and he says, "They're going to leave, aren't they?"
They probably will.
We need to find my sister, you and I. And if you cannot get them to
Yes.
find it, then we must stay.
So
Muscle Daddy wants my company, is what I hear.
you are saying that you believe we will need their help.
I'm saying that we need their help, but if we can't get them to help, then you and I must stay and find her.
But you and I were always going to stay and find her. I really meant what I said before. I think that Gash will thrive under the rule of Genikind instead of all these phony gods that only demand worship and do nothing in return.
That's all right.
At least to people will be able to choose where to live if you split Gash among the four of you.
Okay. So he looks to you and nods, says that we're in agreement.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
Then we are in agreement.
We have always been in an agreement.
All right. So that pretty much sums up that right there.
Unless you would have me do
To
something.
toss that caveat at the end.
No, not a caveat. Wait. Unless, would you rather have them stay? You know that one way or other this can be arranged, but
It could be
that's
done. I do not have a pact with them, but you have influence.
yes, but you have power.
True. But my power only extends into this world to you right now. That is the nature
This-
of our arrangement.
Yeah, but if you say so, there could be developments that are unfavorable for them to leave Gash. If you say the word, I can arrange for it to happen.
I don't wish you to make enemies. Because and a dead acolyte does not serve me well.
I understand. But do remember that a crime is only a crime when it's found out.
I feel betrayed already.
So he smiles and he says, "I think you're beginning to finally learn, Al Hashim." All right. So
That
that's the end.
those athletics rolls that I did, I only meant to click it once, but it went through 3 times. It was a joke. I was gonna say, how far do I throw the lamp?
I thought you were gonna twist. I thought you were gonna twist the bottle shut. Like it's an iron flask.
How
I
how
was like,
how
"Can we-
how
can we
far
put a
does the
plug in
lamp
there?"
how far does the lamp go with a 31?
Yeah, he's like, I'm not giving up this net 20.
Into the river.
Well, it landed.
There's no river, yes.
Oh, there's no water around here.
Yeah, that's how far I threw it.
Yeah,
I threw it to a
exactly.
planet with water.
There you go. Winner.
All right. So
It's a joke. I didn't actually throw it.
you're all nodding down for the night. Christina Lynn, you kind of find yourself in a semi-familiar place. It seems like an astral void, and you can actually kind of see, standing a little ways from you, the familiar figure of Zerthamon.
That was our old captain, right?
Yeah.
No.
Well, wait, what?
No, Zerthamon was the patron of the Githzerai.
Oh, yeah.
He's the progenitor.
Oh.
Fuck, Daddy's calling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he looks to you and he says, "Balance in all things, Star Child. There is something you must see. Come." Any motions for you to head out to him.
Okay.
As you step out there, you notice some of the mist beginning to kind of clear up the void, and you realize that the void stretches as far as the eye can see. You can see constellations and galaxies spread out far below, and there's a very thin plinth of stone between you and him. And while he seems to be standing on one end of it, you suddenly find yourself standing on the other end, and you realize that it's balanced precariously. You can feel it begin to kind of sway and weave under unknown forces. Almost a wind, but there's no wind out here. As
Okay.
Earthamon says, balance in all things. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And he steps forward, and you feel the entirety of this thing begin to tilt underneath your weight. I'm sorry?
Nothing.
Okay, it sounded like you were saying something.
Somebody sneezed.
That was me.
You can feel it begin to shift, and unless you step forward, it'll tip entirely in your direction.
Okay, so I guess I take a step forward.
You can feel the plinth immediately begin to recenter itself. And he says, "There is always a careful measure of balance in the universe. This has always been the way between the Githyanki and the Githzerai, although neither side can ever see it. Look." And he basically extends his hand out below, and you become aware of all these other plinths and stones just kind of rising up out of the depths of the void. And you can see each one with figures on them, back and forth, balancing these stone plinths on single fulcrums of just these large stone towers. And as you look at each of the stone towers and the figures, you realize they're carvings of people and places and other things that you've seen throughout your life. And one of them in particular shows, the struggle of the Githzerai and the Githyanki, a stone figure of each one on either side facing each other off. And you see another one that actually had 4 different figures on it, and two of them seem destroyed. And as you get closer and you look at it even deeper, you can see one of those figures looks like a great dragon. Another one looks like it used to be a very, very tall man, and you recognize the face of Vuk Narheb. And then you see another figure on this side that represents the Triune of the Seers, the Struldrugs, and one more showing you Zool, but it looks like it's damaged and it's starting to fall to pieces. And he says, "See how Gash is balanced precariously upon this. And you've already taken steps to begin. The steps you've taken have already damaged the balance, but in the same way, they've also it's healing it, because you see these figures, and you can see the figures actually moving slowly, moving around as if to rebalance each other, as if to attack. So the players always move. You cannot. They always struggle to be supreme without realizing how fragile that balance is. And even now, it's still threatened. And you can see another figure starting to pop up on another side of it, beginning to outweigh some of the others. And it looks like a statue with fiendish figures just fighting each other at the same time. And you realize that seems to represent the Blood War. Even your party now, without knowing it, has helped establish balance. You see another plinth rising up, and you can see the center of it, there appears to be a hand held by a Githzerai or Githyanki. You're not sure which, because it's impossible.
We all look alike.
It's nearly impossible to tell, and it holds a
Ain't
scroll
that the
aloft.
truth?
And you can see the ruins of one statue or a statue beginning to crumble, and it's a mind flayer on that side. Uluthum would have taken this in order to destroy both of our peoples, and you've slain him. But then another came up to take its place, balanced on the other side, and you see a statue of Ziri. It says, and your friend, or your ally, had ended this with one swift blow, and that statue's head rolls to the side and decapitated, and balance has been restored. You can, if do you want to add anything? Do you want to say anything? Any thoughts?
When can I go home?
There's nothing stopping you from going home. I want you to understand the balance is always here. It is not your destiny. Your destiny is yours alone. But every choice you make affects everything around you. If Gash is to fall, and as you look down the base of the tower, you suddenly realize that the tower that represents Gash, the one that holds up the plinth with the four gods on it, is balanced itself on another plinth with several of the towers. The entire multiverse will surely feel it.
Wait, so do you want us to stay here or do you want us to leave?
That choice is yours.
No, I'm
Your
asking Eric.
Me? Do I want you to?
Yeah, like are we coming up on the end of this or are we jumping off onto something?
Out of character and out of the DM thing. That's not that all what I'm trying to do here. This is just him telling you that whatever choice you have at this point will affect everything. Um, that's what he's trying to get at.
He's increasing the
But
stakes on you, baby.
This is not telling you what you should and should not do. Do you understand?
Butterfly affecting you right now.
Think of it this way. I have multiple possible endings thought out in my head as to how this game could go. And it's up to you guys to decide what kind of ending you want.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
I think I'd like the
Not a good
Scooby-Doo
idea.
ending.
I was just about to say that. Only you can prevent
I'm outta
a
here in
garbage
10 minutes.
wasteland. Get the fuck out of here.
But I was asking if you, as the character, were wanting to say or observe anything on this.
No, not really.
Okay.
Has she ever like said or observed anything on any of this?
I don't know. You've
Oh.
asked me questions before, and then I tried to bring up stuff, and then you're like, "Oh, I don't remember." I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess that's where we're at."
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Sure.
I mean, it has been
I
almost 2
also
months,
don't remember,
so,
but I am not sorry.
Yeah. I know.
Unapologetically don't remember.
All right, Demi Lovato.
Yeah, I mean, like, cool, we did a good thing, but like, I don't see how our decisions are the linchpin on the entirety of this planet. Why you gotta put that bad juju on us?
Okay. So he's he explains that I didn't put this on you. You're in a position where you have the fate of Gash at your fingertips. Will you leave it to the blood war, or will you take it upon yourselves to do something else? It's entirely up to you. But as I said, your path is your own. Balance in all things, and everything begins to fade away. All right.
Who's playing something Star Trekky?
I was gonna say, when did the Galactic Empire show up and start dropping droids?
Okay, I'm not the only one that's hearing it.
You all wake up. So
Sounds like stormtroopers.
you can begin to feel the sun sort of burying down across the tents in the desert. Well, sorry, you don't have any tents. You've got the sleeping things. You feel the sun begin to crawl across your sleeping bags and starting to beam in your faces. So, always fun.
Good thing we got that fog cover.
Mm.
Yep. And nice, comfy, viney beds.
I'm just gonna be honest, guys. Sun hitting your face while you're camping is like the absolute worst part of the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Val, can you
That's
give me a con save?
that's why it's better if you just wake up before.
Before the sun comes up.
Yeah.
That's fair.
He
I've
does
done-
like doing that, and
I've
then
done
he
that
likes
a
to
couple
go on
times.
fucking hikes. And he's like, baby, come on, let's go hike the sand dunes. And I'm like, fuck off, it's 5 o'clock.
See,
Best
That-
time to go hiking.
that's why you need me to go with you. I'll hike with you at 5 o'clock in
And
the
we would
morning,
have so much fun, bro. Hiking sand dunes before the sun comes up.
bro. We'd come back and be so annoying. Guess what we just did?
Uh-huh.
No, he didn't need to come back. He gave me a radio, a walkie.
Ooh, even better.
We had walkie-talkie.
Step-by-step updates.
Maybe we should take him to the burnout with us, babies.
Oh, burn bash.
There's your rolls.
Hey, yep. Val, you're not feeling well.
Okay.
Aw.
I don't feel
I
well.
don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Fuck, you rolled
Oh,
pretty good
no.
for not feeling well.
Wow.
Does he
way to
need like
make,
a tummy rub? Like, what's going on?
way to make everybody go, oh.
Gonna go behind a rock and absolutely drop a load.
He had really
And-
bad Taco Bell last night. I'm sorry, he had really expensive Taco Bell last night.
I want to make the vines
y-
turn into a toilet.
as you start to get up, you start to cough a little bit, and it starts turning into a full-on coughing, choking frenzy, and you spit out a couple of teeth on the ground.
Ooh,
That's new.
those aren't going back in.
That's
As-
Nar.
As
Oh
you start to-
no.
as the rest of you stand around and watch, you can kind of see him starting to deform a little bit, and he starts turning purple. And this well of tentacles erupts from your mouth,
Cool.
Oh boy.
and you start having a real hard time just being able to see. Your vision starts to go blurry, and you wake up.
Okay.
Your bed is drenched in sweat as
And
the
pee.
nightmare hits.
No, it's pee.
Shin,
Yes.
after you drifted off here, you wake up, at least in your dream state, and you find yourself in your grove. But it's just you, and across from you, you see a giant caterpillar smoking a hookah.
Nice.
You got that because we were talking about Alice in Wonderland earlier.
No, I thought about this earlier too.
Mm-hmm.
Elusive.
Shed- Well, hello. Can I sit here and smoke with you?
Yeah. So you see another pipe sitting there with another hose attached to it, and he welcomes you there.
I'm gonna just start blowing rings.
And you've taken quite the journey, haven't you?
Yeah.
But tell me, oh, jeez, you know what? I had thought about this, and I've gotten distracted already by everything else that was going on.
We have a tendency to do that.
So you found some of your answers. You understood who your grandfather is, and you found your friends again, and made some new ones. And he motions to the rat that's hanging out on your shoulder.
Stuart! I'm gonna offer him a little, you know.
Edible cheesecake.
Stuart, as just as stubborn and as irritable as he is in real life, refuses.
Give him a little pat and continue blowing rings and shaking my head. Yep. Long journey, lots of friends, lots of adventures.
When you look back to the caterpillar after admiring Stuart for a bit, you notice that the caterpillar is half covered in a cocoon now. It's like, yep, not long now. You have a very, very short journey ahead of you. Are you going to stay here with me? Or are you going to continue on with your new friends?
Well, I was gonna make sure my friends got back to their ship safely, and then honestly, I didn't think about what I was gonna do next. I was maybe thinking about traveling to some of the nearby cities that were uh mostly impacted by Vuk Narhep's bullshit, and see if I can lend any aid to any of the survivors or anything, and make sure I go back to the cities where some destruction happened and return the balance of things. But more traveling.
While you're sitting there talking and he's slowly cocooning his face, you can kind of hear go, mm-hmm. Kind of nodding along with it. Basically, you can't see his face at all. You can still see smoke kind of emanating out between the cracks of the cocoon, though. Well,
Dang.
any, anything else? Did you want to ask him anything?
Who are you?
Isn't it obvious? And you can kind of see the.
I gotta go, guys. I gotta take this dog to the hospital.
All right.
Okay, not a problem, dude.
Right, Val.
Later. That
Isn't
was a
it obvious?
euphemism, right?
Yes.
No.
No. That was not a
I'm gonna scratch my head a little bit. No?
I'm Josh.
You're gruff?
No.
I mean, I thought you were more like
The crime dog?
Scruff. McGruff. Chicago, Illinois.
No, it's-
60652.
It is here with the cocoon. No, I'm Josh. Eventually, you can kind of see the cocoon begin to crack as a pair of magnificent blue butterfly fly wings start pushing out of it.
I'm just gonna be sitting there and wonders like, oh.
I think it's Gamish, but I'm not. I
That's
don't
what I
see-
heard too, but we're not in the dream.
I heard death.
Right? I I heard golf. I heard gash,
I heard death.
death.
I heard Emotep.
Yeah, that one also checks out.
So he cracks out of the cocoon and he says, "Don't fret, Shin. Everything dies, but sometimes death is just change. And sometimes you need death in order to become something new." And he begins fluttering away.
This is not an episode of 6 Feet Under, for Christ's sake.
Also,
I'm just like looking.
I don't know what episode that would be. I haven't seen 6 Feet Under for over a decade, and I never saw all of it.
also,
It was the
And I-
first season. It was really good.
Okay.
I'm gonna take one big old last deep puff off of the hookah and let it out and just be like, whoa, transformative.
All right. This time you all wake up for real.
Kind of don't
And if
believe
you
it
had-
when he says that.
No, really. There's no one's feeling sick except Zip.
Liar.
Zip, you wake up and while you're getting ready with everything else and just kind of packing your stuff up, you kind of feel this really weird tug, and you're not quite sure what it is, but you feel a little uncertain and a little concerned about what lays ahead.
I take my
And
hand out of
I'm-
my pants.
Mm-hmm.
A different kind of tug.
It's not a rub and tug.
I wasn't sure if the tug would go away if I took my hand out of my pants, so continue.
You suddenly feel doubts about what's going to happen.
Suddenly, he's been feeling doubt about everything that's going to happen since we started this trek.
That means that I'm not feeling doubts anymore. Great. I feel doubt about my doubt. That means I'm not doubtful.
Double negative,
Yeah.
proof positive.
Yeah, that's not how this works.
I think that's exactly how it works, but I'm gonna let it slide.
Nah,
I'm
that's not how it works.
doubtful
Fuck
of
you. I
the
won't do what you tell
doubtness.
me.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know.
Continue.
All right, but that was pretty much there. So this time you guys are awake. So however you want to get this prepared is fine. Like I said, this is going to be a much shorter session, and mostly it's just kind of trying to get everyone back on board and back on the same page of where we left off at. So, continuing on. How are you guys prepping? What do you want to do?
Are the prisoners still here?
Yeah, they're still here. They're tied up.
Okay, I'm just making sure I didn't. They
They're
didn't
tied up
break
good.
out.
Your Boy Scout training paid off.
Are they still alive?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they wouldn't have been able to go anywhere either.
No, they're still alive, and it doesn't appear as some rescue attempt may have happened in the middle of the night. But then again, since somebody put up that mystical grove, it could have also prevented an invisible wizard from coming in and trying to free his buddies.
You know, thinking ahead.
Like you do.
It was a good move.
That was pretty smart cast in there.
Thank you.
He's a pretty
Thank you.
smart fella.
Ooh.
So, while everybody's prepping, I'm gonna say, El Hashin's gonna say actually, it does appear your journey is reaching an end, and you will finally be able to leave Gash. But wouldn't, for the sake of the journey we made together, be willing to help me with this fiend situation? As it currently stands, we have seen there is obelisks to summon fiends all over Gash. We have seen it. We have seen a temple where they explicitly summon the fiends. At this rate, a fiend can show up at any moment. And it can be dangerous not only for Gash, but you know, how many days until you get your flying star fixed so you can leave? What if we suffer an attack? What if the fiends surround us and we are suddenly under a fiend siege? Shouldn't we deal with the situation? Of course, you are not obligated to do anything. You don't have to do anything, but I feel that for the sake of our friendship, or for our companionship, let's put it better, and for the battles we fought together, and for the journey, would you be willing to help me out with this?
Well, I'm sure that if you know, the opportunity to help you out happens across our path in the coming days and weeks, I'm sure we would do it.
Alhashi
Everyone else is
nods.
so quiet.
I'm just kind of trying to think like what that would look like. Are you gonna get on the ship with us? Because that I could help with that.
I don't think that's what he was asking for.
Also, you speak of this looming threat of fiend, but it kind of feels like you've made a pact with them.
I made a pact with what? Why do you say that?
Almost every fight we've been in, you've summoned one to your aid.
No, I summoned elementals. And after our battle with fiends, I was able to tap onto the genie's power. And now I can control the fiends that are already here. I'm
Yeah.
not
Well,
summoning
he
them
said the
from
word. He
another
said the
plane.
word. Did anybody else hear him say the word? He said fiends.
Did hear him say the word.
Sorry, not every battle. Every battle recently. That's a better way of phrasing it.
He still said fiends.
I'm gonna move these bodies to the side because I'm gonna assume you did not want them around you while you were camping.
Shin fed them to his non-tree cacti succulent people.
Ooh.
Mhm.
It's not a cactus, it's blue agave. Thank you.
Also a succulent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go. Some
A
blue
succulent
agave,
that will
make
him
make some
some
tequila.
tequila.
Agave. I still remember when I drank some agave that had a scorpion inside it, inside the bottle.
A scorpion.
That's mescal.
Yeah, they left a scorpion inside the bottle, but I think it was just for show. I don't think it really added anything. Here
It
in
doesn't.
Brazil, we do have what we call cachaça. I don't know how do you call that in the U.S., but it's the distilled made from sugarcane. And
Oh,
often in
rum.
some place in Brazil, they leave snakes in the bottles as well. So, but of course,
Rum.
I don't believe this adds up to anything. It's
It
mostly
typically doesn't.
decorative, I believe.
It's like just it's an interesting fermentation thing. That's all it is, really. It most of the time it doesn't like there's some alcohols that are out there where they'll like mix in certain like they'll mix in like the venom from different like things and it makes it supposedly have more of a potent thing, but it really doesn't because of the fact that like depending on how long it sits in there it actually has the opposite effect because the alcohol breaks down the protein.
Mm-hmm.
So, fun facts. Chemistry with an alcoholic.
We need to come up with like a theme song for that. Ba, 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 ba.
Are you interested in a podcast? Because that could be fun.
So, as to your your question about how I summoned fiends not once but twice, I am just diverging their way and I am able to contain and control their will, but that's because of Genie's power.
Mm.
I would much rather prefer them not coming here and I not being able to summon or control them. I told you what my ultimate goal is in regards to Gash.
Ultimate
I want
power.
to restore.
Itty
I
bitty
want to
litty space.
restore. I want to restore Sabat's siblings to power and have this be a land of thrive and happiness, not this ominous desert full of mold and glass.
I know what I want to do before we leave.
You want to stop by that corner store for some thrifty ice cream?
No. They don't have any of the good flavors. They haven't restocked in like forever, so like it's all garbage. But anyways,
Pecan praline is not garbage.
speak to yourself, old lady.
Wow.
Hey,
In this game, he's common law husband. He's allowed to hurt my feelings.
That's my old wife you're talking about.
I don't think she's old. I think Xanath is old.
You can't
Sheesh.
think the real me is old. We have the same birthday, and I think he's only a year older than me.
You have the same birthday.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
No, before we leave, we need to return these camels.
Oh, yeah, we did promise the dick-sucking camel guy I would give him back his camels.
You were talking about my uncle, you know that, right?
Wait, your uncle's the dick sucking camel guy?
He's the dick-sucking camel.
I would like you to stop referring him as dick sucking camel.
But that's how we know him.
Guys,
We don't remember his name. He's just the dick-sucking camel.
he's the dick-sucking camel that was formerly a gnome.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
His
that's
uncle is
right.
the gnome, not the camel.
he can't be his uncle if he's a gnome. That's not
That's
He's
how.
my
that's
foster uncle.
that's
Not
definitely
how
not true. That's definitely look. I've got a lot of uncles that are not related to me.
Right?
Not how genetics work.
If
Sasquatch is Tiny Human's uncle.
yeah, we're not related.
That's true.
You literally just had two small Mexican children calling you auntie.
Yeah.
That's also true. Xanath doesn't think that way though.
No.
Okay. So, what's your plan of action then?
Well, at the very least, we need to return the camels.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I mean, shouldn't we do that after we get the ship situation squared away?
I mean, we should go look
feel
at the
like
we
that's
should go look at the ship, and then we should go and return the
I
camels.
feel like the camels are like a last on the list kind of thing.
I don't know about that.
You know that I can just return home with the camels, right?
Well, he's gonna take those camels.
I said I would return my
He's gonna
camel.
be a
I will
dick
return my camel. He did a kindness for
You
us.
left a deposit, okay?
He did
after
a
the
kindness
last
for us,
one.
and I'd like to say goodbye to him as well.
I.e., get our money
He was
back.
the first person that we met on this journey.
Godforsaken rock.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, are you
I
headed
wish
out
it
that way
were a
then to the?
God-forsaken rock. Unfortunately, it's a God-disputed rock, but I plan on fixing that.
We're
So,
heading-
are you headed to the west then to go ahead and check out the ship, see what kind of shape it's in?
Ship first.
That's the goal.
Ship first, and then dick sucking camel guy.
I don't think I want my dick sucked by a camel.
Have you ever tried it?
If I
I'm
could have you all
declined to
put
say.
your characters on the right side of the screen, please.
Have you tried to have your
Declined to
dick
state.
sucked?
Anywhere?
No.
Right side of the screen, as close to the right
Yes,
side as
but
you can,
right
please.
side is a bit generic.
As close to
Like
the
right.
right edge.
Are we living on the edge?
Living on the edge.
And I'll probably later on I'll have Val for his character here. I'll just do it real fast. There we go.
What's that? A meteorite?
No, it's just rubble out there. Can you see a little bit? Can you see beyond it though?
Yes, I can see a shape.
Here we can
I'm
see the
just
ship.
looking at the rubble, just clicking, just.
I can see the whole map.
Yes, the whole
That's
map
fine.
is
That's fine.
open.
That's fine. So, you can see the Githyanki ship having plowed into the desert like a giant crashed friggin'. Well, I'd say a bird in this case.
Like a ship.
There's just plumes of sand that are kind of pushed up to either side from the impact of it. And there's still a little bit of smoke coming from it somewhere. You're not sure exactly where, but you can kind of see it rising up in small pillars. Obviously, they've gotten it under control at some point. Are you moving out that far already?
Oh no, I was just placing my character token on there. I didn't realize it was zoomed in almost all the way.
You can see the clear footprints left behind from the Githyanki party having left out and trekking in your direction. The two prisoners in tow on the sled of the camels. I'm just going to go ahead and leave them off screen since your camels are off screen. And this is kind of where your party would be approaching instead. And as you come up to the ship there and try to get a better look at it, you can hear a loud booming voice. Hello, my friends! And from there, we'll leave it off.
So we are actually living in the edge, but it's a different word with a similar pronunciation.
What?
Somebody asked, somebody I don't remember who said. So we are living on the edge when we are placing our characters at the right side of the map.
Mhm.
And you said with that we'll leave it off. So I'm assuming you are ending the session. So we are
I'm
actually
ending the session.
living. So
Yes,
we are
quite
actually
literally
living
living on the edge of the
on
map.
the edge. So yeah,
Okay.
it was a
Yeah,
very
okay.
bad joke.
Living on
It was a very bad joke
No,
added to the fact that
No,
English is not my first language. So
Rodrigo, I just want you to know that makes it all the better.
Mm-hmm.
because the fact that you explained your joke like that, I know how much that drives Eric crazy. Because I do it.
Don't ever do that.
I do it constantly, and so, well done, bravo.
Nice.
That is my type of humor. I explain jokes, and if they are bad and I don't get the response that I want, I explain them because I know that it bothers people. So, just keep doing what you're doing.
Okay, so that means the key to acceptance in the group is keep pissing Eric off, right?
Yes.
Okay, everyone is
got
gonna
it,
lose a
got it.
level.
And we
We're at the
win.
end
We
of the
can lose
game,
a
but
level,
everyone's
but we can
losing a
find
level.
happiness.
Yep.
We only
Everyone's
lose a
gonna
level
be
if we play
negative
by your rules.
Oh
And
my.
an ancient dragon suddenly appears.
Oh, cool! That's awesome because my character just rolled up at level 20 with all sorts of legendary gear.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
weird.
pretty sweet.
Oh, look at that. Someone got kicked from the game. My bad.
Oh no. Guys, this has escalated quite a bit.
All right. So I hope that wasn't too lengthy. But mostly, like I said, I was just trying to get everyone back on the same page with this whole thing and kind of get us ready for the next area.
Not late at all. Usually we would leave like in about an hour from now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
roughly.
not late at all. It's actually.
I
But it
kinda
was
knew it'd
very
be a
fun.
sort of
It
rough.
was a nice session.
I kind of knew it would be a little bit of a rough start for most people here too, because trying to kind of remember what all happened last time.
No. I'm not complaining at all. I'm just saying it was more fun than I expected when you said that it was going to be a shorter session, but we were able to, role play and all this side tracks, like individual cutscenes. Let's put it that way. Was like pretty interesting, pretty nice.
All right. Any questions? Any follow-ups?
Not for me.
Negatory.
Am I getting messages or are people just throwing stuff into the general?
I think people are probably just throwing stuff in general.
Yeah. But on that note,
No one's right.